habrá luz, mientras haya luz, hay amor. Así eres tú, igualita que, igualita que, igualita al sol. Dame más calor, que me siento bien. Dame más y más, dame más amor. En tu corazón hay mucha emoción. Así eres mujer, en tu corazón. Mientras haya sol, habrá luz. Mientras haya luz, hay amor. Así eres tú, igualita que, igualita que, igualita al sol. Dame más calor, que me siento bien. Dame más y más, dame más amor. En tu corazón hay mucha emoción. Así eres mujer, en tu corazón. Lo vi cantando desesperado. Tal vez se le fue su amor. Tal vez se le fue su amor. Y así estaba llorando. Un pajarillo que vi cantando. Lo vi cantando desesperado. Tal vez no dejó su amor. Tal vez se le fue su amor. Y así estaba llorando. Igual que él. Así les estoy cantando. Por dentro estoy llorando. Por culpa de su querer. Igual que él. Así les estoy cantando. Por dentro estoy llorando. Por culpa de su querer. Un pajarillo que vi cantando. Lo vi cantando desesperado. Tal vez no dejó su amor. Tal vez se le fue su amor. tarde, tal vez muy triste y solitaria. Estaba ahí, sentadita muy solita, como si algo la martirizara. Tal vez sufría una pena honda de aquel amor que ella recordaba. Y su corazón, día con día sufría tanto que la destrozaba. Y sus ojos verde mar ya no derramaban llanto, su figura escultural ya se estaba demacrando. Y sus ojos verde mar ya no derramaban llanto, su figura escultural ya se estaba demacrando. Padecer. Si tú me quisieras, podría ser que soy absoluto de tu querer. Hoy te canto a ti, linda mujer, porque sufres tanto ese padecer. Si tú me quisieras, podría como despidiendo el bello día, y en el viejo campanario serían de la vida si no tuviera alegría? No la viviría. Yo no sé qué serían de la vida si no tuviera alegría. No la viviría. No la viviría, no, no. No la viviría sin ella. No la viviría. ¿Para qué? No la viviría.
Solamente tu recuerdo ha quedado en mi triste vida. Vas matando poco a poco este amor, este cariño que según antes querías. Oye en mi triste guitarra y mi voz que te irán cantando. No es con la misma alegría, ahora es con melancolía, qué triste es la vida mía. Esta voz que te canta te pide pronto regreses, y esta guitarra llora, pues dos corazones mueren. Solamente mi guitarra y yo sabemos de las broncas que tenemos. Si decides algún día regresar con mi cariño, siempre te estaré esperando, a Dios le estaré rezando por tu amor y por el mío. Si el Señor crucificado perdonó a sus enemigos, no tengo que perdonarte, lo que quiero es suplicarte que vuelvas por Dios conmigo. Esta voz que te canta te pide pronto regreses, y esta guitarra llora, pues dos corazones mueren.
Compadre, para la que quiera, compadre. Oye, ¿qué? Me está pidiendo el mayo, compa. Que no hay meseta.
Ok, acompáñame esa. Canciones meseta, güey. Oye, sale.
Dale, compa.
Dale, va, pariente. Se asustan sus enemigos, nomás a oír su nombre. Es bastante poderoso, lo buscan y él no se esconde. Aquí le va otro corrido de tantos que tiene el hombre. El álamo que es su rancho, donde lo vieron nacer. Sus padres llenos de gusto le pusieron a Ismael. ¿Quién se lo iba a imaginar? Que tan grande iba a crecer. Por puras terracerías él se pasea muy a gusto, con pura gente encuernada, fuera de cualquier susto, y sin faltar las blindadas. eres muy astuto. Eso, pariente. Arriba el salado. Todo Sinaloa es mío, así dice el MZ. Yo mejor le doy consejos, que con él nunca se metan, porque don Joaquín Guzmán abajo nunca lo deja. Vicente Zambada Niebla, mis respetos por valiente. En Culiacán y en Salado extraña mucho su gente. Sé que pa' don Ismael no es fácil tenerlo ausente. Las prisiones tienen puertas y candados con su llave. Se despide el MZ, el padrino ya lo sabe. El día que ya no sea jefe será cuando Dios lo llame. Ok, complacimos ahí con mucho gusto, pariente. Arriba el salado.
Esto se llama Convéncete y con mucho amor para ustedes. Márquenle, compadrito, dice, va. ¡Óyalo! Allá de la Trinidad, Huastepec, Oaxaca. Sí, señor. Estos cantares.
Para que borren las huellas que dejé yo en ti, para que borren el amor que siempre yo te di. Eso jamás pasará, te juro, nadie podrá borrar de tu vida, borrar de tu mente mi sagrado amor. Eso jamás pasará, te juro, nadie podrá borrar de tu vida, borrar de tu mente mi sagrado amor. Convéncete que aunque tengas quereres serán solo amantes y nada de amor. Compárame, a ver si te cantan, a ver si te aman como yo lo hacía. Compárame, cuando estés en sus brazos, a ver si se siente el mismo calor. Convéncete que ni estando muerta borrarán las huellas que dejó mi amor.
Oye, ella me inventaras con amor. Oye, y mis campanitas.
Para que borren las huellas que dejé yo en ti, para que borren el amor que siempre yo te di. Eso jamás pasará, te juro, nadie podrá borrar de tu vida, borrar de tu mente mi sagrado amor. Eso jamás pasará, te juro, nadie podrá borrar de tu vida, borrar de tu mente mi sagrado amor. Convéncete que aunque tengas quereres serán solo amantes y nada de amor. Compárame, a ver si te cantan, a ver si te aman como yo lo hacía. Compárame, cuando estés en sus brazos, a ver si se siente el mismo calor. Convéncete que ni estando muerta borrarán las huellas que dejó mi amor.
Yeah. Oye, qué recuerdos más. Oye, va.
Para que borren las huellas que dejé yo en ti. de tu caída. Tristeza siento al mirarte que has destrozado tu hermosa vida. Creíste que tu belleza te iba a durar por toda la vida. Pero el tiempo pasa y pasa y siempre negaste lo bueno a tu vida. No llores más, mujer ingrata, no llores más, pues la culpable de tu desgracia, de tu derrota, esa fuiste tú.
Caminito a Oxtepec, del Cerrito Colorado a La Palma. Desde ahí ya se ve mi lindo Trinidad Oaxtepec. Caminito que me lleva al lugar donde me espera viejecitos que me sueñan con afán. Tanto tiempo ya ha pasado y jamás he olvidado aquella tarde que no quiero recordar. Caminito que me lleva al lugar donde me espera mis viejecitos que me sueñan con afán. Tanto tiempo ya ha pasado y jamás he olvidado aquella tarde que no quiero recordar. Con lágrimas en los ojos no me dejaban partir. Sé que sufrieron mi ausencia, hoy vengo a hacerlos feliz. ¡Qué felicidad! ¡Qué alegría hay dentro de mí! Estar nuevamente con mis viejos, con mis hermanos, con los míos, con mi gente. Caminito que me lleva al lugar donde me esperan mis viejecitos que me sueñan con afán. Tanto tiempo ya ha pasado y jamás he olvidado aquella tarde que no quiero recordar. Con lágrimas en los ojos no me dejaban partir. Sé que sufrieron mi ausencia, hoy vengo a hacerlos feliz. Esta canción es para ti. provincianita. Como quisiera que me escucharas esta canción tan linda que eres, como una rosa que ha florecido en bello jardín. Provincianita, como quisiera que me escucharas esta canción tan linda que eres, como una rosa que ha florecido en bello jardín. Ya no quiero verte triste, nunca jamás, por eso te canto hoy tu canción. Quiero ver esa sonrisa tan inocente y angelical, verte siempre muy feliz, ay amor, verte siempre sonreír, corazón. Me invade cierta alegría no más de verte feliz, feliz. Yo quisiera para ti, provincianita, esta canción. Yo quisiera para ti, provincianita, todo lo mejor. Yo quisiera para ti, provincianita, un gran amor. Hoy quisiera para mí, provincianita, tu corazón.
¿Te gusta lo que te estoy cantando? Es para ti.
Yo quisiera para ti, provincianita, esta canción. Yo quisiera para ti, provincianita, todo lo mejor. Yo quisiera para ti, provincianita, un gran amor. Hoy quisiera para mí, provincianita, tu corazón. Que hubo en ti se terminó. Por eso pido ya no finjas dar cariño. Por eso pido ya no finjas dar amor. Ya he soportado tanto tus desprecios. No tiene caso el seguir juntos sin amor. Tú sabes bien que ya no tengo tu cariño, porque hace tiempo tú le diste el final. Ya me cansaron tus besos, hoy aborrezco tu amor, pues sabes bien soy sincero y no te guardo rencor. Ya me cansaron tus besos, hoy aborrezco tu amor, pues sabes bien soy sincero y no te guardo rencor. Ay, oye, y aún así te canto, cariño. He soportado tanto tus desprecios. No tiene caso el seguir juntos sin amor. Tú sabes bien que ya no tengo tu cariño, porque hace tiempo tú le diste el final. Ya me cansaron tus besos, hoy aborrezco tu amor, pues sabes bien soy sincero y no te guardo rencor. Ya me cansaron tus besos, hoy aborrezco tu amor, pues sabes bien soy sincero y no te guardo rencor. Ya me cansaron tus besos, hoy aborrezco tu amor.
No entiendo al amor, yo no sé por qué. Si mi pobre corazón, borracho de pasión, sufre por un amor. Y le digo así, corazón no sufras. Y le digo así, corazón no sufras. Enséñate a perder, enséñate a sufrir y volvamos a empezar. ¡Caramba! Te digo que no sufras.
de pasión, sufre por un amor. Y le digo así, corazón no sufras. Y le digo así, corazón no sufras. Enséñate a perder, enséñate a sufrir y volvamos a empezar.
The Business of Industrial Gases. Part 1. The factory that breathe. The invisible industry that keep the world running. Everyday people depend on factory that they will never see. Steel mill reducing the beam that hold up the skyscraper. Semiconductor fab manufacturing the processor inside smartphone and iServer. Hobby store delivering life-saving oxygen to intensive care unit. Food processing plant freezing seafood within minutes. Leaving the ocean. Rocket launch facility repairing spacecraft for journey beyond Earth. At first glance, these places seem to have almost nothing in common. Different industry, different technology, different product. Yet they all share one dependency so fundamental that without it, their operation would stop almost immediately. Most people assume that dependency is electricity. After all, every modern factory consumes enormous amount of power. Like robot, computer, industrial machinery, everything appears to run on electricity. But as an engineer inside one of the world's most advanced manufacturing facility that would shut production down first, the answer may surprise you. Not electricity, gas, invisible gas. Imagine walking through one of the largest semiconductor factories on Earth. The clean room clean stress across football field. Machine worth hundreds of millions of dollars operating with astonishing precision. Every second, silicon wafer move through hundreds of carefully controlled manufacturing steps. Then imagine one critical supply suddenly stop. No electricity, nitrogen. Within minutes, contamination risks begin to rise. Sensitive equipment can no longer maintain the own clean environment required for production. Manufacturing slow, then stop. Now travel thousands of miles to a steel mill, molten iron, glow brighter than the sun. Gigantic furnaces transform raw material into the steel that fuels cities Again, imagine the electricity remain available, but oxygen supply disappear. The furnaces cannot operate at design. Production found dramatically. The plant is forced to shut down. Next step inside a modern hospital. Patient in intensive care rely on continuous supply of medical oxygen. Operating room, emergency department, neonatal unit. Every breath is count for countless patients depend on the gas so common in the atmosphere we rarely think about it. Yet the oxygen flowing through orbital byline is nothing like the air outside. That's been verified, compressed, transported, monitored, and delivered through one of the most sophisticated supply systems of modern healthcare. Now visit a food processing facility. Fresh seafood, frozen vegetable, remove meat. Many are reserved using liquid nitrogen, cold enough to freeze product within moment. Egg protecting texture, flavor, and quality. Without that invisible liquid, entire production in line with slow spoilage would increase and global food distribution would become far more difficult. Finally, stand beside the launch pad moment before the rocket leaves the Earth. Towering above you is one of the most complex machines humanity has ever built. Yet before ignition, enormous quantity of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen are pumped into the vehicle. Without those gases, there is no launch, no cell line, no mission, no journey into space. Semiconductor, steel, medicine, food, space exploration. For industry, one visual foundation. Industrial gases, not the air we breathe, but the gas is purified to salary level, transported to vast hidden network, and produced by an industry that most people have never heard of. Behind nearly every major manufacturing economy stands a remarkably small group of companies that do not sell smartphones, they do not manufacture automobile, they do not build aircraft. Instead, they supply the invisible molecule that make all of those industries possible. Companies like Linde, Air Liquide, Aeroducts, the name rarely appear in the headline. The products are almost never advertised to consumer. Yet together, they generate $10 billion every year by selling something that surrounds us every second of our life. Not ordinary air, but air transformed into one of the world's most valuable industry resources. Because the modern economy doesn't simply run on electricity, it breathes, and the company that control invisible red have quietly become one of the most important businesses on earth. To understand how they build the hidden empire, we first need to answer the salary question. How did humanity learn to turn atmosphere itself to the one of the world's most profitable industry? Part 2, before it became industry, how humanity learned to separate the atmosphere every second. Each droplet inhales roughly 78% nitrogen, about 21% oxygen, a small amount of argon, tiny traces of carbon dioxide and other gases. To us, air feels simple, invisible, free, and endless. For most human history, exactly how we both view it. The atmosphere was something you breathe, not something you manufacture. No one imagined it could become one of the world's largest industrial businesses. Because how do you solve something that already surrounds everyone? The answer begins with one simple realization. The air around us isn't one subticle, it's mixture. If those gases could somehow be separated, each one would unlock entirely new different industry. Oxygen could make steel reduction dramatically faster. Nitrogen could protect delicate electronics from contamination. Argon could create cleaner fuel. Hydrogen could become both industrial feedstock and future energy carrier. Helium and cool MIR scanner and scientific instrument to temperature impossible with ordinary refrigeration. Suddenly, the atmosphere was just air. It was a vast reservoir of raw material, but there was one enormous obstacle. Spreading those gases seemed almost impossible. After all, you cannot simply fill oxygen from nitrogen like sand from water. The molecules are corruptly mixed together, moving constantly through the atmosphere. For centuries, scientists could identify individual gases in laboratories. Producing them on an industrial scale was another challenge. Entirely, the breakthrough came from the end of the 19th century. One German engineer would quietly change the industrial history forever. His name was Carl von Lindt. unlikely inventor. Colin wasn't searching for a way to save oxygen. He was trying to solve a completely different problem: refrigeration. Factory need better way to reserve food. Rivalries needed reliable cooling. City demand larger refrigeration system. Then they became fascinated by the physics of extreme low temperature. They discovered that gases behave in remarkable way when comprehends are expand and cool under the right condition. It was something invisible as air can become liquid. Imagine pouring the atmosphere into glass. It's impossible. Yet at around minus 160 Celsius, nitrogen becomes liquid. Oxygen follows at approximately minus 183 degrees Celsius. Because it gas liquefy and later boil at a different temperature, they can separate using carefully controlled cyclogenic distillation. The principle resembles boiling water from a mixture of liquid with different boiling point, except instead of cooking ingredient, engineers are separating the atmosphere cell inside the normal industrial air separation unit. The atmosphere air first passed through sophisticated filtration system. Thus, they remove moisture, eliminate carbon dioxide, extract because it would freeze solid surface temperature. The remaining air comprehends under immense pressure, then cool again until eventually the atmosphere becomes liquid. It's the one of strangest transformation in modern industry. Something completely invisible suddenly flow like water. Inside during the stimulation column, the liquid air begins separating nitrogen with it lowering boiling point rise toward the top. Oxygen concentrate lower down, argon form between them. What entered as ordinary air leave the multiple high purity industrial product. Its destination for an entirely different purpose. The technology was revolutionary. For the first time in history, humanity could manufacture the atmosphere. Industrial X-ray during the 20th century demand slow. Steel reduction required vast quantity of oxygen. Chemical plant consume hydrogen. Hospital increasingly depend on medical oxygen. Aerosonic manufacturer demand on ultraviolet nitrogen. Entire industry emerged that seemingly could not exist without large-scale gas separation. Carl von der Linden invention had quietly raised something much larger than refrigeration company. It had created an entirely new industrial sector. Around the same time, another visionary engineer, short course, advanced cryogenic technologies in France and found what would eventually become air liquid across Europe and later North America. Company raised to improve the efficiency of circulating air. Larger plant, higher purity, lower energy consumption, better distribution. The business overly rapidly, but an even more interesting formation was taking place when these companies were merely selling oxygen or nitrogen. They were selling reliability. A steel mill cannot afford to run out need oxygen for even a few hours. Semiconductor operation plant cannot pause production while waiting for nitrogen delivery. Hospital cannot simply postpone surgery because oxygen supply arrives tomorrow. Industrial gases had become something closer to electrical, actually or water. Continent unity, visual infrastructure that customer expected to available every second of every day. That expectation would fundamentally shape the industry business model. Unlike oil, coal, or metal, natural gases often are transported across the continent in giant cargo ships. Instead, they are frequently reduced in a few hundred meters away from the customer. Sometimes the gas company literally build it on its production facility inside customer factory. The business model, unlike any other in the industrial world, it has explained why a handful of companies have quietly dominated the industry for generations. Because they don't simply sell gases, they build invisible lifetime that entire factory cannot survive without. Selling something nobody can see. The natural gas company built one of the world's strongest business model. Imagine opening a business that sells water, not bottled water, not failed drink, just water. At first, it sounded like a terrible business. Water everywhere, not mentioning selling air. That's how it's more impossible. After all, every person on earth has access to it. Has a company like Lin, air liquid or air duct roll into business, worth millions of billion dollars combined by selling something that costs nothing to collect. That's a surprisingly simple. They don't sell air, they sell certainty. Just saying why imagine you are one of the world's largest steel mill. Now every minute you blast furnace operation, it consume enormous quantity of oxygen, not only oxygen. Industrial oxygen deliver at a precise pressure and flow rate. If the supply stop for even an hour, reduction doesn't simply pause. Molten metal begin cooling. Equipment experiences thermal stress. Restarting operation may take days. The financial losses can reach millions of dollars. For steel reduction, buying oxygen isn't like ordering office supply. It producing uninterrupted production. Now imagine operating semiconductor fabrication plant. Inside the clean room, thousands of tools is constantly consumed. Ultra high purity nitrogen, not 99% per, not even 99.9% per, often 99.9999% or higher. The gas continuously or take sensitive equipment for moisture or microscopic contamination. If nitrogen purity suddenly drop, the factory doesn't merely risk slowing production, it risks destroying what millions of dollars. Again, the customer aren't paying for nitrogen itself, they are paying for reliability. That distinction changed the entire industry business model. Unlike our company, industrial gas producer rarely load their products onto giant ships and send them around the world. Transporting gases is surprisingly difficult. Many occupy enormous volume. Others require extremely high pressure. Some must remain colder than minus 180 Celsius. Moving them over a long distance is expensive. Instead of transporting gases to factories, the industry often bring the factory to customer, drive past the modern steel mill, oil refinery, or semiconductor fabrication plant. You may notice something unusual nearby. Stand enormous silver tower, network and insulated point, large storage tank, scientific equipment. Many people assume that facility belong to factory itself. Okay, often they don't. They belong to company like Lin Air Liquid Air Duct. The company frequently pure on-site air separation plant is directly beside their customer. Concept is elegantly simple. Rather than releasing oxygen hundreds of kilometers away and transporting it every day, they manufacture it a few hundred meters from where it will be consumed. Pipeline connect the gas line directly to the customer production line. Oxygen flow continuously, nutrient flow continuously, iron flow continuously. The customer barely notices. The gas simply arrives every second of the day. This arrangement array a extraordinary relationship. The industrial gas company invests hundreds of millions of dollars shrinking baseline infrastructure. The customer sign contract that often last 15 or even 20 years. Both sides the company deeply connected. Neither one receives to fail. For the customer, changing the supplier isn't as easy as requesting a lower rate. Replacing a supplier may require constructing an entirely new production facility, installing new pipeline, requalifying operating condition, interrupting manufacture. The cost can be enormous. This rate one of the strongest competition advantages in modern industry. Economists often describe this as in terms of switching costs. Industrial gases represent one of the per example. The relation itself may appear interchangeable. Oxygen, nitrogen, but the infrastructure delivering those gases is anything but interchangeable. When a gas supplier becomes entered into the customer operation, they should often last decades. This explains why the industry's largest company enjoy monthly stable revenue. Unlike consumer business that constantly compete for new buyer, industrial gases company frequently grow by spending alongside existing customer. When a semiconductor manufacturer build another fabrication plant, its gas supplier often build another air separation unit. When a steel company enriches production, additional oxygen capacity flow will happen together. This is why investors sometimes describe the industrial gases as one of the most resilient business models in manufacturing. The company don't simply sell the product, they become part of the unit infrastructure. In many cases, customers stop thinking about gas entirely. Just as of it, workers rarely wonder where the electricity comes from. Factory managers expect oxygen and nitrogen arrive continuously without interruption. When everything works, nobody notices. That invisibility is precisely the point. Of course, not every customer requires entirely reduction plan. Hospital may receive liquid oxygen delivered by insulated tanker truck. Machine shop often use compressed rat like cylinder. Food manufacturer store liquid nitrogen in massive cryogenic tank, refill on schedule delivery. Smaller laboratory purchase specialized gas mixture with portable like calendar. Different customer, different delivery method, yet underlying promise remain identical. The gas will always be there when needed. By quietly solving the one industry most fundamental problem, companies like Lin Air and Aeroduct with build businesses with extraordinary economic resilience. They rarely attract public attention. Consumers seldom recognize their logos. Yet behind the scene, the pipeline stretch for thousands of kilometers. Their cryogenic plant operate around the clock. Their energy engineer manage one of the most essential unity network in the modern economy, because one factory begins depending on invisible gas. Though gases stop being symbol duct, they become infrastructure, and nowhere in that more vast. Inside what the humanity oldest and most demanding industry, the industry that still consumes more industrial oxygen than any other still. But for the oxygen behind steel, while one visible gas transformed the world's most important metal. Long before smartphone, long before artificial intelligence, long before semiconductor fab filled with billion-dollar machine, there was still built gateway that connected continent. Still raised skyscraper to city skyline. Still carry ship across ocean. Still reinforce bridges, power plant, airport, and factory. Even today, despite the rise of digital technology, modern civilization still consume nearly 2 billion tons of steel every year. It remains one of the most important materials ever produced, but few people realize the modern steel making depends on something almost invisible. Not iron, not coal, not oxygen. Imagine standing beside the blast furnace. The structure tower more than 30-story high. Inside temperature says 2000 degrees. Iron or coal, limestone, and on the descends slowly through the furnace, while superheat air blasts upward from below. Chemical reaction strip oxygen away from the iron ore, leaving behind the molten iron. This process had powered civilizations for centuries. That molten iron ore alone isn't steel. It contains too much carbon. It too many impurities, too many unwanted elements that make the metal brittle and difficult to control. Turning a molten iron into high-quality steel requires another transformation, and that transformation begins with oxygen. Inside the basic oxygen furnace, a giant vessel to slightly 800 tons of molten iron are poured inside. Then, from above, a massive cold water lens slowly descends. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then, a stream up nearly per the oxygen in drop downward at supersonic speed. The oxygen strikes the surface of the molten metal with incredible force. Almost instantly, violent chemical reaction begin. Carbon combined with oxygen from carbon monoxide, silicon oxidized, phosphorus oxidized, manganese oxidized, impurities disappear one by one. The furnace glows brilliantly. Flame purge iron. It opening the reaction releases enormous amount of heat, allowing the process to continue with astonishing efficiency. In less than an hour, hundreds of tons molten metal are transformed into steel without oxygen. This conversion would take much longer, consume more energy, produce lower quality metal. The invention of basic oxygen furnace in the 20th century revolutionized global steel production. Factory that one required many hours could now reduce steel in fraction of a time. Productivity soared Coastal entire economy is spent behind that revolution stood as an industrial gas that most people never noticed. Today, steel manufacturing remains one of the largest consumers of industrial oxygen anywhere in the world. Some integrated steel plants consume thousands of tons of oxygen every single day. The demand is so enormous that transporting oxygen by truck would be completely impractical. Instead, companies like Linde, Air Liquide, and Air Reduction often construct massive air separation plants directly beside the steel mill. Oxygen never enter the delivery truck. It travels through dedicated pipeline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years without interruption. To steel production, oxygen behaves almost like electricity flowing through power line. It simply expect to be there every second of the day. But oxygen isn't the only gas quietly shaping modern steel. Another gas far less famous, playing an equally important role, argon. Unlike oxygen, argon is remarkably unreactive. Chemistry call it noble gas, meaning it resists forming chemical bond with other elements. That unusual property make it invariably useful. After oxygen remove unwanted impurity, steelmakers often inject argon into the molten metal. Tiny bubbles rise through the liquid steel like bubbles in boiling water, but the bubbles aren't healing metal. They are stirring it. The channel mixing distribute temperature evenly. It helps the dissolved gas escape. It allowing element to blend uniformly throughout the molten steel. The result is clearer, leaner, more consistent metal with fewer microscopic defects. Again, the gas itself disappears. The customer never see it. Yet it invisible work improve everything from automobile frame to suspension bridges. Nitrogen also had a place inside modern steel making. Depending on the type of steel being reduced, control amount of nitrogen may strengthen certain alloy or improve corrosion resistance. In other situations, engineers work carefully to prevent nitrogen from entering a molten metal because excessive amount can reduce toughness. Even when nitrogen isn't intentionally added, controlling its presence becomes another symbol of how invisible gases determine the final property of steel. This is the remarkable reality of industrial gases. They rarely become part of finished product in obvious way. Instead, they shape the manufacturing process itself. They accelerate reaction, protect material, protect impurity, control temperature, improve quality without changing the appearance of the final product. They fundamentally determine how that product is made. The company like Lin Air Liquide and Air Product still had long been one of their largest and most reliable markets. Every expansion of steel mill creates demand for larger air separation unit, more oxygen, more argon, more nitrogen. The gas company now roll alongside the steel producer. Their business become intertwined for decades, but the important as steel is, it no longer represents the industry-rated technological challenge. In the 21st century, another customer began demanding gases for entirely different standards, not thousands of tons of oxygen, but molecules so pure that the few unwanted items could destroy billion-dollar reduction run. The customer wasn't building skyscraper, it was building microchip. And inside those semiconductor factory, industrial gases would become even more critical than they were in steel, because unlike steel, the purity is measured in percentage. Semiconductor manufacturing measure purity in part per billion and sometimes even part per trillion. The visible business of industrial gases was about to enter the most demanding frontier. Part 5. The invisible fuel of high technology, where the world's most advanced chip factory depend on the invisible gases. If steel is the industry that consumes the largest volume of industrial gases, semiconductor are the industry that demand the highest perfection. A modern steel mill may use thousands of tons of oxygen every day. The semiconductor fabrication plant use far smaller quantity Yes, every molecular matter inside one of the TSMC advanced fabrication facility built up transistor manufactured every single day. The machine operates with astonishing precision. Extreme violet light bring circuit pattern only by a few nanometer wide. Robotic system move silicon wafer through hundreds of careful control manufacturing. The clean room are among the most controlled environment ever by humanity. Visitor must wear full body protective suit. Air continuously flow downward through massive filtration system. The particle invisible to human eye are treated as serious threat. Even this accelerated level of clearness isn't enough because the rated temperature often cannot be seen. Oxygen, moisture, microscopic contaminant. At scale more than semiconductor manufacturing, ordinary air become an enemy. This is why nitrogen has become one of the most important industrial gases in the digital economy. Not ordinary nitrogen, the ultra high purity nitrogen, the purity often excess 199%. Some manufacturing steps require even higher specification, where impurity are measured in part per billion or in part per trillion. To appreciate why this matter, imagine trying to paint a masterly white tiny rain of sand continuously fall to the canvas. Every rain leave a defect. Now replace the painting with a silicon wafer contain billion of transistor. One microscopic contaminant can ruin an entire chip. One defective chip may represent thousands of dollars in lost value. One contaminated production path can cost millions. This can act as an invisible shield throughout the fabrication process. It continuously flush moisture and oxygen away from the sensitive equipment. It will take chemical during storage. If blanket the interaction chamber before the dedicated manufacturing step begin, it carries wafer safety through automated system. In many cases, engineers don't even notice it represents exactly the point. If machine is doing the job properly, nothing happens. And if semiconductor manufacturing nothing happens enough, it often the best possible outcome. But nitrogen is the only beginning. Hydrogen also play a crucial role inside modern fabrication plant. During certain manufacturing process, hydrogen help very carefully control chemical environment. It removes unwanted oxidize from metal surface. It also in heat treatment that improves transistor performance. In advanced telegraphy system, hydrogen also help protect sensitive optical components from contamination. Without carefully controlled hydrogen atmosphere, many critical semiconductor processes will become far less reliable than the helium. The most known helium as the gas that makes balloon float. Inside the semiconductor factory, however, helium has an entirely different purpose. Exceptional thermal conductivity makes it one of the best cooling gas available during plasma etching and wafer processing. Helium efficiency transfer the heat away from the liquid silicon wafer, helping maintain the stable temperature required for nanometer scale manufacturing. Even high temperature variation can slightly expand the material. At the ordinary scale, such expansion is significant. At 3 nanometer, it matters because modern semiconductor manufacturing isn't merely about building smaller transistors. About controlling every physical variable, stimulating the sleep temperature, pressure, humidity variation, contamination, gas composition. Every factor must remain astonishingly stable. Perhaps the most fascinating gas of all is one that mostly nobody outside the semiconductor industry ever think about: neon. Unlike nitrogen and oxygen, neon is relatively rare. Most people associate it with colorful and appetizing sign. But inside the advanced telemetry system, highly purified neon become part of the laser technology that generate the light needed for chip manufacturing. Without extremely pure neon, the power excimer laser used in many laboratory systems cannot operate reliably. That fact attract little public attention for years until 2022. The geographic tension disrupt supply from Eastern Europe. Semiconductor manufacturers suddenly confront an uncomfortable reality. Gas commonly associated with glowing storefront sign had had quietly become one of the critical materials supporting global chip industry. Once again, the visual product review itself to be strategically important. The deeper one look into semiconductor manufacturing, the more remarkable the picture becomes. Every major process depends on invisible molecules are working behind the scene. Nitrogen protect, oxygen clean helium, coal, neon enable, laser, argon support plasma generation during etching and deposition. None of the gases become part of the finished processor. Consumer never see them. Technology reviewer never mention them. Yet remove any of them. The revolution quickly slow or stop entirely, each other depending explaining why industrial gas company mentioned some of the closest relationship with semiconductor manufacturer, cases such as lean air, liquid, or air duct, don't simply deliver cylinder of gas to chip factory. Many operate dedicated on-site production facility capable of supplying ultra-high purity gases continuously 24 hours a day. Complex purification system remove contaminant down to a level almost impossible to imagine. Specialized pipeline transport gases directly into a clean room without exposing them to outside environment. Every valve, every filter, every connector, every method of piping must preserve purity from the reduction plant on the way to the manufacturing tool. Because one contamination enters the system, it may already too late. In many ways, the industrial gas network surrounding the semiconductor fab resembles its calculatory system. The electricity power the machine, but visible gate keep manufacturing progress alive. Without them, $1 billion hierarchy tool become silent. Robots stop moving wafer. Chemical reaction increases. The factory itself cannot read the semiconductor, only the one chapter that much larger story, because the same visible gases also sustain intensive care unit inside hospital, rotate food transport across continent, and even lift rocket beyond Earth atmosphere. The world's most advanced technology may appear completely different, yet many of them still rely on the very same invisible molecule. Part 6. Hospital, food, and rocket. The visual gases that quietly sustain everyday life. When most people hear the word industrial gases, they imagine factories, steel mill, chemical plant, oil refineries. Massive industrial complexes are hidden behind security fences. What they already mentioned is a hospital or a supermarket or a space launch. Yet so the world most violent moment depend on exactly the same invisible product that power heavy industry. The difference isn't the gas itself, it's how the gas is used. Consider oxygen inside steel mill. Oxygen accelerate chemical reaction powerful enough to melt hundreds of tons of metal. Inside the hospital, the very same element perform entirely different tasks. It keeps people alive. Work through the intensive care units of modern hospital. Almost every bed connect to a one outlet supplying medical oxygen, ventilation, the emergency room, operating theater, neonatal intensive care unit, ambulances. None of these systems rely on ordinary atmospheric air. They depend on the oxygen that has been verified, tested, compressed, monitored, and delivered under strict medical standard. Every second patient breathes oxygen reduced hundred or sometimes only a few hundred meters away from the industrial separation plant. During the COVID-19 pandemic, this invisible supply chain suddenly became visible. Hospitals around the world experience unprecedented demand. Entire nation rushed to expand oxygen reduction. Tanker truck carry liquid oxygen became critical infrastructure. Government monitor oxygen inventory alongside hospital capacity, forming that people oxygen had always seemed unlimited. The pandemic reminded the world that medical oxygen is not simply air, it manufactured product, while requiring sophisticated purification, storage, transportation, and continuous quality control. Industrial gas companies suddenly found themselves operating the front line of global healthcare. The same company supplying steel mill were also supplying hospital. Their business had quietly become the part of modern medicine, now considered another invisible gas. Nitrogen, unlike oxygen, nitrogen currently attached public attention. Yet it play a atomistic role in resolving good imagine freshly harvested strawberry or seafood unloaded from a fishing boat or a cut of a bit designated for restaurant thousands of kilometers away. Tell me they rate sending me every minute. After harvest processing, biological activity begin reducing quality traditional freezing work, but it often freeze slowly. Large size restore from the inside, so texture changes, flavor suffer. Liquid nitrogen offer a completely different approach of solidity minus 196 degrees Celsius. It free food almost instantly. Tiny iris story reserve the original calcular structure far better than slower conventional method to reserve food. Taste fresher than after morning storage. This technology has quietly transformed the global food industry. Frozen inevitable seafood, ready-made meal, premium dessert, and many on the quality to invisible cloud of evaporating nitrogen. Consumer already noticed. They seem to enjoy products that are tasty, remarkably fresh. Nitrogen but from another equally born intact after food had already been packaged. Walk through a supermarket and simulate a particular chip appear filled with air. In reality, manufactured intentionally blend oxygen with nitrogen before sealing the bucket. Why? Because oxygen causes oil to oxidize. Oxidation creates stale flavor. Nitrogen prevents that reaction. The bag remains crisp. The food lasts longer. Again, the gas disappears before anyone thinks about it. It's a set like precisely in remain unnoticed. And their helium, the most people encounter helium only by birthday body inside hospital. However, helium become one of medicine's most valuable resources. Anything is resonant, imagine better, know what? MRI, they depend on extraordinary, powerful, superconducting magnet. The magnet operate only at temperature close to absolute zero. Liquid helium provides cooling. Without it, superconductivity disappear. The MRI scanner tough functioning, no medical imaging, no diagnosis, no treatment planning. Unlike balloon, MRI system cannot simply substitute another gas. Helium unique physical property make it exceptionally difficult to play. They become irreversibly important to as a global helium supply to fluctuate. A gas associated with separation has quietly become essential for modern healthcare. And then there's Bay field machine demonstrate humanity engineering ambition more dramatically than rocket, towering launch vehicle, steam powered by fire, explosion, thunder, enormous engine. Yet before ignition come something far less dramatic. Hour before launch, television begin filling with rocket with invisible liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, sometimes liquid nitrogen for cooling and purging system. Every transformer occur under careful control temperature. Every valve operate with extraordinary precision. The flow themselves are astonishing. Liquid hydrogen must remain near minus 253 degrees. Liquid oxygen near minus 133 degrees Celsius. Managing the cyclothermic fluid is among the most demanding logistic challenge in engineering. Company specializing the industrial gases posted decade of expertise handling exactly the condition. Knowing originally developed for factory now support launch pad, while the mission belongs to NASA, Space Exploration, European Space Agency. Industrial gas technology remained an essential part of every countdown. Long before the engine ignite, the invisible work had already been completed. But after the more remarkable characteristics of industrial gases, the same oxygen can manufacture still sustain extensive care patient or live astronaut tower orbit. The same nitrogen can protect semiconductor wafer, research frozen food, or maintain high cryogenic storage for biological sample. The same helium can cool scientific instrument, enable advanced medical imaging, or support aerospace research, one industry colored application. Yet it's pursuing serving so many different sectors, the market remains dominant by only a handful of companies. That rate intriguing the business question if industrial gases are so essential Why the hundred of competitor enter the market? Why had it in visual industry remain concentrated on hand-up commodity like lean and liquid or air reduced for decade? The answer very little to do with chemistry and everything to do with the one of strong economic mode ever built in modern industry. Box 7. The business. Nobody can copy easily. Why the three company quietly build one of the strongest economy mode in the world? At first glance, the natural gas build seems surprisingly simple. Take air, separate into oxygen, nitrogen, and argon, compressed into gases, deliver them to customer. Repeat that on that. If that's all there is to it, why don't hundred company complete? Why the industry remain dominated by a handful of them for a decades? The company like Lean, Air Liquid, and Air Reduct continue supplying many of the world's largest factories years to the years. The answer has somewhat nothing to do with the gases themselves. It's everything to do with the infrastructure. Imagine someone offer to raise your home electricity provider tomorrow. You might compare prices, read review, sign a new contract. The switch is relatively easy because the infrastructure is already there. Now imagine releasing the company supply oxygen to one of the world's largest steel mill. The situation is completely different. The oxygen arrives in a bottle. It doesn't arrive in the trunk. In the truck, it often travels through a dedicated pipeline connected directly to enormous air separation plant. Specifically for that customer, that production plant may have cost hundreds of millions of dollars. The pipeline stretches across the customer facility. Control systems are integrated into manufacturing process. Backup system warranty interrupted operation. Replacing that supplier doesn't simply requiring system requiring signing a new contract. It may require constructing an entirely new industrial complex. They want a stronger competitive advantage in modern business. Economists call it a high switching cost. Industrial gas company call it elevated. One industrial gas supplier become embed inside a customer operation. The relationship often lasts for decades. Contract lasting 15 years are common. 20 years agreement are not unusual. Some industrial partnerships continue even longer. The reason is simple. The gas company isn't merely delivering oxygen. It become part of the customer factory. The business model is especially visible in semiconductor manufacturing. When a company like TSMC, Samsung, or Intel build a new fabrication plant, the investment doesn't stop. Lithography machine and lean room, entire unity system must be constructed around the fab. Ultra high purity gas production, cryogenic storage purification system, pipeline network, continuous monitoring equipment, emergency backup capacity. Every component must work together flawlessly. Our natural gas company firmly participate from earliest state of the factory design. Year before the first silicon wafer enter production, engineers from both companies are already working together, planning demand, designing infrastructure, optimizing purity level, planning for decade for future expansion. By the time production begins, the partner had already become deeply integrated. Changing supplier later would mean redesigning part of the infrastructure from the ground up. That makes the mission remarkably different from most manufacturing industry. Right matter, but reliability matter far more. Imagine saving 1% on oxygen cost. On the two-liter reduction, worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of the supply interruption. No factory manager would consider that a root change. This is why industrial gas companies invest enormous resources into reliability, motor compressor, backup power system, duplicate pipeline, emergency storage tank, remote monitoring center operating around the clock, predictive maintenance powered by artificial intelligence. Customers are paying only for molecule. They are paying for confident that the gas will continue flowing tomorrow, next month, next year, and 10 years from now. That reliability has made industrial gases one of the most attractive business models on the stock market. Unlike industry driven by changing customer tastes, the industrial gas demand tends to remarkably stable. Hospital only require oxygen. Steel mill continue reducing steel. Food manufacturer continue freezing production. Semiconductor fab continue manufacturing chip. Economic cycle may slow roll, but on the flying demand rarely disappear. As a result, companies like inadequate aeroducts often generate steady cash flow year after year. Investors sometimes destroy them at quiet compounder businesses that rarely dominant financial headline yet consistently roll over decades through long-term contract, recurring revenue, and exceptionally high customer retention. Scale of another enormous advantage. Building a modern air separation unit require specialized emerging cryogenic expertise, advanced automation, and substantial capital. Operating hundreds of such a facility across dozens of countries requires something even more valuable: experience. Every new project benefits from knowledge accumulated across thousands of installations. Every improvement reduces operating costs. Every efficiency increases reliability. Over decades, those advantages compound. Smaller competitors face an almost impossible challenge. Even they can reduce access of identical quality. Can they build global pipeline network? Can they finance $1 billion infrastructure project? Can support multi-million dollars customer operating facility on multiple continents? Can they guarantee uninterrupted supply for decades? The barrier to entry become enormous. The one industry leader had to remain remarkably consistent. Lean, adequate aeroduct. The deposition were not built on a facile advertising campaign. They were built on one byline, one production plan, one long-term customer relationship at the time. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the business is that success often depends on remaining invisible. Because consumers never choose to company supply oxygen to hospital. They better ask which industrial gas company support the semiconductor factory producing their smartphone processor. Then when notice the Bailar hidden behind the steel mill. And that is precisely the point. The infrastructure worked so well that disappeared from public attention. The better the company performed, the less anyone think about them. Yet behind every invisible byline lies one of the most powerful business models ever made, not because the product area, but because Jersey, the industrial gas company, discovered a remarkable truth: selling molecule was never the real business. The real business was becoming indispensable. One factory depends on your infrastructure. No longer just another supplier, you become a part of factory itself, and to have the stand why the world's most essential industry remain most entirely hidden from public view because the rated businesses are not always the loudest. Sometimes they are the one quietly keeping the entire global economy breathing. Part A, the industrial tree that sell air, while the most invisible business may be the most modern on earth. Walk into your kitchen, open your refrigerator, take out the bucket of frozen vegetables, drive across the bridge on your way to work, unlock the smartphone, visit hospital, watch your rocket launch. At first, the moment seemed completely unrelated. Different industry, different technology, different buzz. Yet hidden, every one of them is the same visible foundation. Industrial gases, not because oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen are rare. Quite the opposite, they are among the abundant substances on Earth. The salary achievement line transforming those ordinary molecules into the reduced pure enough, reliable enough, and reliable enough to support the modern world. That transformation had quietly become one of the humanly greatest industrial accomplishments. Perhaps that sounds like an exaggeration. At non-Hamburg and Canada company, if the main product is here, the answer becomes clear when we imagine the opposite. Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that industrial gas production has stopped, not permanently, just for 1 week. Steel mill begins shutting down as oxygen supply disappears. Semiconductor fabs suspect conduction because ultra high purity nitrogen can no longer effectively manufacturing equipment. Hospital activate an emergency reserve while desperately searching for additional medical oxygen. Food processor lose access to liquid nitrogen used for rapid freezing. Chemical plant slow reduction. Oil refineries reduce output. Rocket launches are postponed infinitely, and global economy would not collapse because the electricity disappeared. It would struggle because invisible molecules stop flowing. That That thought experience reveals something profound. The natural gases have quietly become form of infrastructure. We normally think about infrastructure at road, railway, port, power grid, internet cable. But there is another network hidden beneath the modern civilization. Thousands of kilometers of industrial pipeline, cryogenic storage facility, air separation plant operating 24 hours a day. Specialized tanker fleet transporting liquid gases across continent. More control center monitoring pressure, velocity, and flow every second. Most people never notice this system, yet they are just essential as highway and electrical network. Perhaps this explains why companies like Lin Air Liquid and Aeroduct rarely receive the attention given to technology giant. Consumers never interact with them directly. There are no product launches. There are no advertisement during major sporting events. No queues outside store waiting to last release. No, their customers are not video. Their customers are entire industry, and because the industry depends on them every hour, every day, the company have become deeply woven into the fabric of global economy. In many ways, they represent a little kind of different innovation. An innovation that capture headline, but innovation that quietly accumulate over decades, building more efficient air survey unit, reducing energy consumption, improving gas variety, developing safer cryogenic storage system, creating smart byline monitoring technology. Every improvement is somewhat visible, yet together they make modern economy more productive, more reliable, and more resilient. The future may make the company even more important. Hydrogen is increasingly viewed as potential low carbon energy carrier for industry that are difficult to electrify. Carbon capture technology rely heavily on gas separation expertise. Semiconductor manufacturing continue to demand even higher ability standard. Transistor approach atomic dimension. Healthcare system require growing supply of medical oxygen at population age. New industries are emerging, yet nearly all of them require the same core capability, the ability to separate, purify, transport, control gases with extraordinary precision. In other words, the future will demand exactly the industrial gases company has spent more than century learning to do. The one history recurring pattern. The industry that appear in the ordinary today often become indispensable tomorrow. Actually, was one novelty. The internet was one an academic experience. The standardized shipping container was one considered a little more than steel boxes. Industrial gases follow a similar path. They began a scientific curiosity. They evolved into the industrial unity. Today, they quietly support nearly every advanced manufacturing process on Earth. Perhaps the right lesson of this story is not about chemistry, not about engineering, not even about this. It's about perspective. The modern economy is built upon a countless invisible system that most people never notice. Celebrate smartphone. We celebrate smartphone where they are the ultra pure nutrition that protected their manufacture. We have miscarried already the oxygen that help produce that still we just hospital. Rarely the industrial manufacturer deliver the life-saving oxygen every second, which rocket launches. We rarely the cryogenic gases loaded 100 before ignition. The world's most transformative industry often success precisely because they disappear into the background. They become so reliable that we stop thinking about them. Perhaps that is the ultimate measure of range infrastructure. Not everyone notices it, but that's not everyone has to. Nobody has to, because when visible system work perfectly, solution keep moving forward. The next time you hear someone describe the world electric company, you may mention technology giant, automaker, and energy producer, but behind all many famous names stand quite an industry that doesn't manufacture a smartphone, pure aircraft, or land rocket, yet make all the achievement possible. Industry that took more ordinary substance surrounding every human being, their excel, and transform into one of the most valuable businesses in the global economy. Sometimes the greatest company don't create entirely new resources. It simply teach the world how to see ordinary value in what happened there all along.